Hi guys, welcome back to Study Knits. This is podcast number 13. My name is Allie, and if you're new here, I'm a fourth year medical student living in the US, and I love knitting and talking about knitting. I follow a standard knitting podcast format with the finished objects. I have 2 finished objects. WIPs, I have 3 of them, and acquisitions and future plans, I have no acquisitions today, which is good. I've been trying to save money, so that's good. That's good of me. And then I will talk about media review. I do have some exciting life updates, so I'll just start off with those. If you've been following me for a while, you know that match week was, I'm recording this on Saturday, so it was a week ago. For those of you that don't know, match week is, or match day, is when fourth year medical students find out where they're going to do their training for residency. It's a very exciting day filled with celebrations with family and school. I went back up to my school's campus for this celebration and it was really fun. I got to hang out with my classmates. I opened my letter with everybody. If you're not in person, you just get an email. It's a little more fun to open a letter, in my opinion. So that happened last week, and I don't really share a lot about my medical, my medical student side, my professional side. And I've been trying to decide how much I want to share about it on my YouTube. I want to keep a good separation between the two. So I'm not going to say all the specifics of where I'm going or what I'm doing, but I did match at my top choice, which was so exciting. I'm so over the moon excited, and at my specialty that I chose, I only applied to one specialty, so that wasn't really some people apply to multiple specialties and then they find out what kind of doctor they're going to be on match day, but I only applied to one specialty and that's what I matched into, which was obviously the specialty that I want to do, and I'm really excited to start a career in that, and matched at my top choice. Again, I'm not going to say exactly where it is, but it's in New York City, so I'm moving to New York City in a couple of months. Residency starts July 1st, so I'll move sometime over the summer, but I'm crazy excited. I've wanted to live in the city for a while now, and so I'm so excited that I get to move to the city and start my career and start training and being the kind of doctor that I want to be. So I'm so excited. I had a lot of people reach out on Instagram and then on YouTube, leaving comments and DMs, and I really appreciate it. It really meant a lot that people were wishing me good luck or saying they hope it turned out well. It really meant a lot, and I really appreciate it. So yeah, I just wanted to say thank you if you reached out. And yeah, I'm so excited. And then other I had a crazy weekend, other crazy life events. I got engaged. My boyfriend and I got engaged. Well, I guess he's my fiance now. Yeah, so that was really, really fun. I was really not expecting it at all. I knew it was going to come in the next couple of months, probably before I started residency, but I really didn't think it was going to be then. So we got engaged the night before match day. So that was very exciting. It was just the 2 of us in our little Airbnb that we were staying at. It was really special. It was really sweet, and I was completely shocked. Tying it back into knitting, when my boyfriend, I guess my fiance, when he proposed to me, I was wearing my Sadie sweater. I'll include a picture of us that we took that night. It's the only picture we have of the 2 of us that night. I was wearing my Sadie sweater and he was wearing his, I think it's called the Friday slipover by Petite Knit that I knit for him. So we were wearing hand knits, which was so perfect. I love that we got engaged wearing things that I knitted. And then on match day, I actually wore this sweater that I'm wearing now, which is one of my finished objects. So, big weekend for hand knits in the spotlight. Very, very crazy. I got engaged, and my fiance and I are going to move to New York City in a couple of months, and I'm so excited. What a great weekend. What a great weekend. And that segues nicely into my finished objects. Also, all the information, all of the yarn, patterns, designers, everything that I'm talking about will be linked in the description below. And it's also on my Ravelry, which is also linked below. I keep a pretty good detail pretty good log on my Ravelry of what I'm working on, modifications and whatnot. So if you have any questions, you can go there, or you can send me a DM on Instagram. If you have any questions about anything, I'm more than happy to answer questions or help. Or I guess before I talk about this, I'll talk about my where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's pretty unexciting. But this, well, it's not unexciting. This is my finished Berlin scarf by Suzanne Muller, or Paula Streaked. Let's see, oh, it got folded weird. I knit this using Drops brushed alpaca silk, I want to say. Yeah, Drops brushed alpaca silk in the color number 3, which is called gray. I held it double. I used, what size needle did I use? I used 6.5mm for the body, and then I believe I used 6mm for the fringes. There's only one size, I just knit the one size. The yarn, it's 77% camelid alpaca and 23% silk. It's a nice yarn. I talked a lot about it in my last podcast. In my last podcast, that's why I said this is unexciting. It's because I had like the fringes to work, or maybe I was like halfway through the fringe. No. I basically worked like a couple more rounds of ribbing and then just did the fringes. Like this was pretty much done during my last podcast. Oh my God, I gotta take it off my lap. I'm getting hot. It is warm outside today. It is warm. I will say, again, I talked about this in the last one, but people get like fringe fatigue with this pattern. Like it happens to a lot of people. I've seen it on podcasts. Anytime I post about it on Instagram, people reply to the story and are like, oh my God, I can't deal with the fringes. Work one set of fringes first, I beg of you. Like, for the love of God, work one set of fringes first. Hold up, is this like uneven? Oh my God. What? Oh no. Oh no. I hate finding mistakes on camera. It's like so devastating. I thought it was just folded weird, but turns out, because it's basically a tube and then you close the tube, but turns out, I don't know if you can see, this is one set of fringes and then it's like tube, and I thought it was folded weird and I was like, why do the fringes look like that? I don't know if you can see, but it's not. I guess the beginning of round marker got moved or something, so the fringes, the tube is basically twisted. Like this is where the fringes should have started and this is where they started. So there's like all this. Oh my God, Allie, how did that happen? Since this is for me, maybe I'll like try it on. Wait, let me just try it on now and see how it looks. Okay, because it's not gonna be like really straight across like ever, you know? Like maybe it would be. I think I can live with it. I think I can live with this because the thought of undoing these fringes and redoing the fringes, at that point, I would just rather burn it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I can't. I don't think I can do that. So I'm just going to leave it and pretend like nothing's wrong with it. If that's all right with you guys, that's all right with me, and that's what I think I'm going to do. Because you can't really tell right now. Right? And then I think it's going to be hard to babushka anyways. Yeah, and then the messed up side will just go in the back, right? It'll make blocking difficult, but okay. Well, now that I've found the mistake and pointed it out to everybody, I've decided not to do anything about it. So I'm just gonna live with it. So much for not being exciting, right? I don't know how that happened. The beginning of round marker must have gotten moved somehow, or I'm really not sure what happened. That's the only thing I can think of. This is also, this is my third one of these that I've made. Didn't have the issue on the first two, but it's the first one for me. Yeah, do the fringes at different times so you don't have the fringes left at the end. Both sets of fringes left at the end, that's what I was saying. Would recommend that, but then again, like, is that how this happened? I don't know. Do whatever you want, as always. Again, I like this yarn. I feel like I used Drops Melody for the first two ones, and that shed a lot. This shed a lot less. I think I said that in my last podcast as well. Yeah, I really like this yarn. I do really like this pattern. Something that I am, well, let me just say, I made the other two as Christmas gifts for my fiance's two youngest sisters. I made them Berlin scarves for Christmas this year. So I have not had the chance to wear one around. And now that it's like end of March, almost April, I don't think I'll get a chance to wear this like this season, which is fine with me. I want to give it a wear and see how I feel because I feel like this is a bit too wide for me. Like I would like it to be a little bit like maybe like this. All that to say, I would love to make another one of these. I would make it like maybe skinnier, like this, skinnier and then a little longer. And I am itching to try out the Sadness Garn Borst Alpaca, which is the suggested yarn for this. It is a lot more expensive than drop brushed alpaca. I think one skein of the Borst Alpaca is maybe like 14 or 15 US dollars. And one of these is like $2, $2 to $3. And then it's held double. So essentially it's like $6. It's basically like half the price. On my medical student salary, my like loans couldn't really justify that. But I think once I have a big girl resident salary, I would be very interested to try the Sadness Garn Borst Alpaca. And that way I feel like the Borst Alpaca, the drops brushed silk, what is it? Brushed alpaca silk and the drops melody are like the three most common yarns used for this. And that way I could try out all three and decide which one I like the best. Because right now this is my favorite of the two drops, but I want to try the Sadness Garn one. Also, I'm in love with all of their colors. I kind of want a pink one. How fun would that be? Like a little pink. Anyways, so would love to make this again. I love this pattern. I find it it's very simple. I feel like I'll get a lot of wear out of this once it turns cold again, but right now it's like really warm. So no wear out of this. All right, yeah, that's it. That's all we're gonna say. Okay, my second, I guess my last finished object. This is crazy having only two finished objects. I think for the past maybe like 3 or 4 podcasts, I wanna say, I've gone like over a month in between recording podcasts. And so it's been this like massive catch up of projects. I've had like 5 or 6 finished objects to talk about. And now it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since I recorded. So it's so much more manageable. Like it's just so much more manageable, the amount of things to talk about. So I love that for me. Okay, this I'm wearing my next finished object, but I'll insert B-roll of myself wearing it as well. This is sweater number 23 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. Spoiler alert, I absolutely love it. Wait, what sweater is this? Wait, I think it's sweater number 26. Yeah, sweater number 26. Do you think she regrets naming them all after numbers? If I were her, I would. Sorry, this is sweater number 26 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I knit this using yarn that I got from my trip to Paris with my mom that I took over New Year's Eve. So the yarn is La Droguerie Surnaturel in the color bleu marine or just navy blue. And I love it. It's a fingering weight yarn that I held double. I made the size medium. It's top down. It is saddle shoulder. It's my first saddle shoulder construction. Saddle shoulder and contiguous. Does saddle shoulder always mean contiguous? Let me know. Someone let me know. Minimal shaping for the underarms and the body, and then a nice rolled neck. A nice rolled neck. I love it. Let's see. The yarn, La Droguerie Surnaturel, I believe it's 100% wool. It's super soft. Like I said, it's fingering, so I held it double. I used, let's see, 595 grams of this yarn, which is about a little over 2,000 meters. It came in a giant cone. I bought it at La Droguerie in Paris, and it came in a cone, and you could basically just tell them exactly how much, like how many grams of yarn you wanted, and they would wind it up for you. So I got, I think, like 705 grams of this yarn, and that was enough for a sweater, thank God. I was kind of worried I wouldn't have enough, but I'm always worried that I won't have enough yarn. I have about 110 grams left over. I'm trying to decide what to do with it, but no really good ideas right now. I used a 7.5 millimeter needle for the body, 3.5 millimeter for the cuffs on the sleeves and the body, and then a 2.75 millimeter needle for the neck. The only real modifications I made on this is that, if you can see in the pattern photos, it calls for twisted rib on the cuffs. And I don't really like, twisted rib is hit or miss for me, and I didn't like it on this, so I just worked regular rib instead. That's really the only modification that I made. I did make it pretty cropped. I think I have a short torso. It's funny how you don't know these things. I kind of think that I have a short torso because I made it pretty cropped, but it's sitting exactly where I wanted it. I wanted it to sit like a little bit below where my jeans come, like where my jeans hit. I didn't want to have to like tuck it in or anything, and I can pretty much just wear it out with jeans. And you can't really see any of like my stomach or anything, but it's not super long that I need to tuck it in or anything. I did wear this to match day. I was kind of in a rush to finish it because I wanted to wear it to match day, and I finished it in time and I wore it to match day. I'll put a picture up of me wearing it at match day, if I haven't already put up a picture of me at match day, but I absolutely love this. This is definitely one of my favorite things that I've made. Again, I feel like it's always biased when you finish something. And if you're talking about it within a month of finishing it, you're like, oh my God, yes, my favorite thing that I ever made. I love it so much. But I really do love this a lot. I think during the last podcast, I had just had the like shoulder pads done basically. So I finished most of this in between podcasts. The vast majority of it in between podcasts. This is only my favorite things design that I've knit. Is that right? Wait, let me double check that that's right before I go any further. Yeah, this is only my favorite things pattern that I've made. The first one was camisole number 5, which I modified heavily, but that is also one of my favorite patterns. I don't know why I never really knit any of her stuff before, but I find her patterns pretty detailed. One thing that I loved about this is all of the like checkpoints that she had, especially around the whole yoke construction, because there was a lot going on with the like saddle shoulders, the front and the back, increases for the arm, and then later some increases for the armhole and like neck shaping. There was a lot going on, and I really appreciate how often she kind of like stopped to check in, right? And was like, now you should have this many stitches on your needle. You know, now you should have like, you have all these stitch markers, there should be this many stitches in between all of the stitch markers. Because there was a lot going on, and so I really appreciated being able to stop, count my stitches, and be reassured that I was on the right track, especially since I've never knit a saddle shoulder design before. So the construction was new to me. Also separately, if you're on Ravelry, there's somebody on Ravelry. I feel really bad for them. If you go to forum posts, this person on Ravelry posted, this is their like first sweater that they're ever making, which I can't imagine knitting this is my first sweater ever, because this was kind of difficult, not kind of difficult, but I had to stop and think for just a stockinette sweater. I had to stop and think a good amount. And I'm a pretty experienced knitter. So there's this poor person on Ravelry who it's their first sweater. And I was reading the forum post and I was like, maybe I can help, but they're a left-handed knitter. And I'm not a left-handed knitter. So if you're a left-handed knitter and you've knit this before, or you know the pattern, go help them, because I don't know how to help them and I feel really, really bad for them. So yeah, I love that about the pattern. What else did I love? Well, okay, I don't know that I loved it. I love the outcome. The neck, this tiny, I don't know if you can see it, this tiny little neck, the little like rolled stockinette, and then this really pretty like sewn detail right here. This took probably 6 hours. I'm actually not joking. It took 2 full evenings. Oh my God, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. It was just tedious. It was so tedious. Because you're knitting on like really, really tiny needles. You had to pick up stitches from the wrong side, and then the way you sewed it down, it just was very, very tedious, and it took me so long. It's not really a complaint because I absolutely love the way that it looks. I'm obsessed with the way that it looks. But oh my God, it took so long. I underestimated it. I was like, just a tiny little rolled neck. How hard can it be? It took a lot. It took a lot for me. Another thing that I really, really like about this pattern is, again, I hope I'm not giving things away, but I do very frequently work, what's it called? Is it called double knitting? I think it's called double knitting. Yeah, double knitting, that you work before you bind off in tubular. And I worked 4 rounds for the sleeves. And only 1 round for the body. And I feel like because of that, my sleeves are like, this will give me a good chance to show off my ring. But my sleeves are like very, very cinched, right? There's no like flaring of the sleeves or anything like that. And I just feel like it gives like, it's such a tidy look on the sleeve as well. This just feels like such a like polished, tailored, tidy garment that I love. Like this just feels very, very sophisticated, like lots of good details on this that make it look like very elevated. I absolutely love this. I was a little scared, I'm not gonna lie. I finished it and I tried it on and I took pictures before I blocked it because I was like trusting that it would fix with blocking, but I looked like I was wearing like a football uniform. Like the waist right here, it was so cinched and tight, and the sleeves, it looked like I had shoulder pads or like football padding underneath the sweater. It was so bulky and puffy, and I was like, oh no. I was like, oh no, this might not be good. And then I blocked it, and it's perfect. It evened out with blocking, and just as I suspected. Some complaints I had seen, someone reached out about how deep the armholes were. I don't find them to be like that deep. I think they're a pretty good amount of deep for being especially like an oversized yoke and being a sweater with a good amount of positive ease. I don't find it to be bad. I certainly don't find it annoying. If the person hadn't reached out to me, I probably never would have paid attention. So for me, I like it. It fits well. I mean, they are pretty low now that I'm feeling it, but I don't know, less body to work. You know what I'm saying? Like less just endless stockinette body to work. That's all I'm saying. Oh, let me talk about this yarn also. Oh my God. I absolutely love this yarn. Like, I love this yarn. It's one of my favorite yarns that I've worked with. I love the texture of it held double. I find it was very soft. It kind of reminded me of like a Focalana Arwetta, but just a little bit thicker and a little bit more dense and softer is what it reminded me of. I feel like it kind of expanded really well, if that makes sense. I'm trying to describe this in like a sophisticated, good knitter way, but I'm really not. I just loved it. I love the color. I truly love everything about this yarn. I was between a couple of different yarns at La Droguerie in Paris, and I decided to purchase this one, and I'm so glad that I purchased this one because it's a nice like French navy blue color, and I also feel like it's a very sophisticated French looking sweater, which is what I wanted. I went through a lot of pattern searching to find a pattern that would fit this yarn and this yarn gauge, and also was kind of French looking, like very elegant, chic, but also effortless. And I do feel like this fits it. I love this yarn. I am, well, not am considering, but I think if I were to find a project that I like, I would love to order more of this yarn and would happily pay the shipping costs to ship it from France, because I absolutely loved working with this yarn. I love wearing it. It's a really nice sweater. It's pretty warm, I have to say. But then again, wearing it, because I wore it to match day, wearing it to like a giant conference hall, filled with like probably like 300 people, at least three to 400 people on a very anxiety inducing day, was like maybe not the best move, because I was sweating a lot in there. But then on the other hand, it was like 40 degrees outside, maybe like 30 with wind chill. Like it was very, very cold outside. It felt great outside. Inside, I was sweating so much. Oh my God. But it's very warm, and I don't know that I'll be able to get a ton of wear out of it over the summer or into the transition. It's not a very good transitional piece because it is 100% wool. Okay, hi guys, this is Allie from the future. I've just sat down to edit this video, and I got to the part that you just listened to where I said I don't see this being a transitional piece. And it's important for me to let you guys know that I wore it on like a very classic spring day when I was in DC a couple of days ago. It was like maybe, maybe 60 degrees, and I wore it over a tennis dress, and it was absolutely the perfect thing to wear. It's also kind of a warmish day here. It's like 60, 70 degrees Fahrenheit here, and I'm wearing it inside. I've stepped outside in it a couple of times. So I think it is a transitional piece. It's not so woolly and sheepy feeling that it doesn't feel right in the spring. It is a warm sweater. I would not wear it outside if it was over 70 degrees, but it was the absolute perfect thing to wear around on like a 50, 60 degree day in Washington, D.C. So I take back what I said about it not being a transitional piece. I think it definitely is. So that was all I wanted to add. I'm so happy with this. Would love to make another one of these in a different color. Maybe La Droguerie Surnaturel. But yeah, I love this yarn. I love this pattern. I would not change anything about this if I were to make it again. Huge fan. Huge fan. Is there anything else to say about it? I don't think so. All right. Moving on to my whips. I have, like I said, 3 whips, 1 sweater. Wait, I won't give you any spoilers. My first one, can you tell? I just started it. Well, that's not true. I'll talk about it. This this is the twist loop sweater. The twist loop sweater by Other Loops. The very beginning of the twist loop sweater by Other Loops. I'm using 2 yarns for this. I'm using Filcolana Arwetta in the color Dijon Heather, I think, and Knitting for All of Soft Silk Mohair in Caramel. This is what they look like together. And then this is the Arwetta, and this is the Soft Silk Mohair. Okay, I'm knitting the size medium. Whatever corresponds to medium is what I'm making. I pretty much always make a size medium. Let's see, the Filcolana Arwetta is, I think, 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. And then the soft silk mohair is 70% goat mohair, 30% silk. This is a lot. This requires a lot of thinking. It's a 3x2 ribbed project with these lovely cables, and it's raglan. So right now, I just did my first cable. You can see. At the same time, I'm like working raglan increases, and the raglan increases, obviously, you go between knit increase and a purl increase. It's just a lot to keep track of in my head, and I've messed up a lot on it already. But nothing that I can't like go back, either tink back or like ladder down and fix. The thing that I couldn't fix though is that I knit the neck. I knit it on 3mm needle, and then I'm knitting the body on 4mm needle. I'm using my ChiaoGoo interchangeables. So I finished the neckline, And I'm going to start to set up for the rib and the raglan increases. And inexplicably, I have two 3mm needles on. I'm using my interchangeables, and I changed this one, the one that I'm not knitting with. I change it to 4mm, and I don't change the other one. And I knit on this for a whole weekend, the whole match weekend, I knit on it. And I only realized when I get back here and I'm looking at it and I'm like, that's weird. Why are they two different sizes? So I knit a pretty good portion of the raglan yoke on the wrong size needle. And then I'm on Reddit. I'm like, two different size needles in the round. And I was like, probably, like, maybe it would have looked weird. It probably would have looked weird. So I unraveled it. I did take a video before I unraveled it, though, of the progress that I had done, just to show you how much I had to unravel. I pretty much unraveled back to just the neck, and then just started from the neck down. And this is where I'm at now. I'm enjoying making it. It does require a good amount of concentration, though, and focus. And I think I said this in my winter knitting plans video that I thought this would be the last thing that I cast on before spring, summer. I was right. Good job. This does just scream fall to me. Right now, I don't really want a wool and mohair sweater going into spring, summer. I mostly cast this on out of like, well, actually, this is crazy now that I mention this, but I was like without a knitting project for a solid like 4 hours, which maybe doesn't sound that crazy to like non-knitters, but to like knitters, like that was crazy. I finished my sweater number 26, and then I had like 2 fringes left on my Berlin scarf. So I finished the 2 fringes on my Berlin scarf. I bound off on that. And then I was like, oh my God, like what do I knit now? Like I didn't have anything to work on. So obviously I cast on 3 projects. I've been pretty monogamous, like pretty down to like only like 2 to 3 whips at a time. And I'm pretty proud of myself for that. No like long-standing whips. It's nice to kind of like start something and then not have it like take agonizingly forever because you're working on other things. That being said, I did cast this on, and I'm not going to finish this anytime soon. I feel like I'm going to work on this until I decide not to, and I'll pick it back up in the fall. I mostly cast this on because I don't have any of my spring and summer yarn with me right now. I'm obviously, because I'm still like, I don't have a place to live. My stuff is in storage. I'm going to my storage unit next week on my way back down south to hang out with my fiance and my mom. And then I'll pick up my spring summer yarn then. I'm pretty ready for spring summer knits, but I just don't have the yarn with me because I think that's what I would have cast on. I'm knitting on this now. I'm enjoying it, but I'm just like, why did I cast this on? Like, I don't really know why I chose to cast this on. It doesn't matter. I'm enjoying it. It's nice to knit on, but yeah. This will probably be the last time you see this. Actually, no, I'll show it to you next time if I keep working on it. But then I'll just pick this back up in the fall because it's a perfect fall knit. Oh my gosh, and short row shaping with raglan increases and the ribbing, like, oh my God, it's crazy. So it's been fun to knit on, but it's taking a lot of my brain power. This was such a weird thing to talk about it. I feel like it's pretty clear that I have like no passion for this right now. Which is wild. If I'm being honest, none of my whips are really doing it for me right now. I don't really feel like this spark of joy and creativity when I look at them. So I'm just gonna, before I keep rambling, I'll just move on. My next one's fun. I like it. I love the way it looks. I'm enjoying it, but it kind of hurts my hands to knit. So that's why I'm not like reaching for it every single time. This is my Technicolor Purse / Kindle cover. I hope you can see it. I don't feel like the lighting is very great right now. I mean, I'm sitting in front of the window. It was really nice earlier and now it's kind of dark. So I hope you can see it. This is the Technicolor Purse by Petite Knit. I'm knitting the size small-ish. The size small, I can't remember how many stitches it is, but I cast on 69 stitches instead of what was recommended for the small, so it's even less stitches than recommended for the small. But I am using some Scrappy yarns. Here, let me show you. I have 5 yarns that I'm using, and they're all just a tangled mess. Let's see, this is Drops Flora in black. This is Filcolana Arwetta in black. I'm using it they're kind of like the same. Okay, this is Filcolana Arwetta in mahogany. Whew. Filcolana Arwetta in nougat. And Filcolana Arwetta in camel. That was pretty good. That was just off the top of my head. These are all left over from various projects. And I have of all the Arwettas, I have under a skein quantity of each of them. And then I have about 2 skeins of the Filcolana. No, I've got 2 skeins left of the Drops Flora. But I'm trying to use up the Arwetta first. This is gorgeous. I love this. It is, what's it called? I think it's like, is it mosaic? No, it's not mosaic. Slip stitched pattern. And you hold 3 strands of yarn together. And then in the pattern, it details how to do the color changes and everything, like row by row. And you switch out how many of each color you're holding at once. And it creates this really, really cool pattern, really cool color changing pattern. I am following the pattern, like the row instructions exactly for changing colors. But I'm enjoying knitting on this, and I love looking at it, and I like the sort of sensation you get with color work where you're like, oh, well, let me do one more row and see what it looks like with another row. That you don't necessarily get with like single color stockinette. It's gonna look the exact same. So I love knitting this and seeing what each row ends up looking like. But the 3 strands of yarn, it's really difficult to knit with, and it kind of hurts my hand sometimes. So I've really only been doing a couple of rows on this a day. What size needle am I using? I went up in needle size. I want to say I'm using a 5.5. Yeah, I'm using a 5.5 millimeter needle. The recommended yarn for this is Sandnesgarn Sunday, and the Filcolana Arwetta is a little bigger than the Sandnesgarn Sunday. Is that right? Or is it smaller? No, I think it's a bit finer. It doesn't matter. I went up in needle size, doesn't matter why. And I like the way it looks. I'm making this as a, I saw somebody on Instagram making it as a Kindle cover. My fiance reads a lot. That's still kind of weird to say. I'm still getting used to that. He reads a lot on his Kindle. And I was like, oh, do you want a little like knitted Kindle cover? And he said he would love one. So I'm making him this one. I had a couple of options for the Filcolana Arwettas to use. I think there were 2. Oh, and a Knit Picks Stroll. I had a lot of fingering weight yarn options to use, and this was the color combo he picked, which was also my favorite. So it was a good selection on his part. I hope it ends up fitting, but on the other hand, like if it doesn't end up fitting, like I'll just make him another one because this is really fun to knit. I love that it's using scrap yarn, and I love that like if I were to run out of one of these yarns, I could just replace it with a different colored yarn and it wouldn't look weird. Because even though there is a pattern and a thing to follow, like I feel like I could use like a bright red yarn in one of these and for a couple of rows and it just wouldn't look weird. It's supposed to look kind of eclectic, chaotic, like there's no rhyme or reason for the different colors at different places. So I really like this. I definitely see myself making more of these to use up scrap yarn. I love a scrappy project that doesn't require like me to buy any more yarn. Do you know what I mean? Kind of defeats the point of a scrappy project if you need certain quantities of them and then you have to buy more and then you're left over with more. So it's nice that I could just, if I run out of one of these, like whatever, I'll just join a new color yarn and it'll look fine. Oh, I did have a question. Because the pattern is written to include like a sewn lining and a zipper, which I'm totally fine with doing, but I was considering doing like a little button closure at the top. I don't know if it would be like I would finish it and then it would be, I would attach like a elastic cord and a button on one side and it would be elastic cord, or if I would like knit a little bit more and have a folded cover for a button. My fiance said he doesn't really care which one. But I don't know what would be, if the button would be feasible, if the zipper would be easier. I'm not really sure. So if anybody knows kind of what I'm getting at, if anybody sees the vision and has any advice to offer, I would greatly appreciate it. Other than that, that's all I had to say about this. Last one will be kind of quick, but these are my socks. I'm using I don't even know what it's called, but it's the basic top-down sock from this book, Custom Socks Knit to Fit Your Feet by Kate Atherly. I've talked about this before. And in addition, I am doing a project vlog for my socks because if you remember, I had a lot of struggles with knitting a well-fitting pair of socks. So I thought I would chronicle my journey to knit a well-fitting pair of socks. But I am really enjoying this book. It gave a lot of really good instructions on how to gauge swatch. I did a little gauge swatch in the round, how to measure your feet, and then how to calculate how many stitches you need for everything for the sock. So this is my first sock that I started. I've done the ribbing and I'm working on the body. I cast on a few extra stitches for the ribbing because I do have thick calves, and I will just slowly decrease on the like body of the sock. I don't even know what you call it. I'll slowly decrease before I get to the like ankle foot portion. Oh, the yarn. I'm knitting this using Knit Picks Felicini in the color Wagon Sofa. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. This was gifted to me by a friend, a medical school friend of mine who knits a lot of socks. So I love that I'm using this for my first pair of socks. Sadly, this yarn has been discontinued, but it's sad because I really like working with it and I'm obsessed with these colors. I think they're gorgeous. It's very like 80s retro, and I love all the colors. Let's see, I'm using a 2.25 millimeter needle. Yeah, a 2.25 millimeter needle. These stitches are really tiny, but I'm enjoying knitting it. I enjoy knitting socks. I just haven't enjoyed any of the finished object socks that I've made. So hoping I can use Kate's advice from this book and make a really well-fitting pair of socks. I don't want to spend too much extra time talking about this because, like I said, I do have a project vlog going on about it. I don't want to repeat myself too much. Let's see. I have no acquisitions. I also recently released my spring and summer knitting plans video. So those are all of my like future plans. I'm not going to go through that here. Obviously, there's a whole like a 20-minute video about it. That is actually it for all of the knitting. I feel like I talked for a while. I always think I'm not going to talk for that long, but I just always end up talking for a while. I'm chatty, sue me. That's it for the knitting. I will continue to talk about media, various media, non-knitting media that I consume. So if you're only here for the knitting, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And now I'll start talking about like Formula One. Guys, like what a season already. Such a great season. I feel like the first two races were really great. I haven't watched them live, which I don't like not watching them live, but I'm really happy for the people that like do get to watch them live and don't have to get up at weird hours to watch them live, because I feel like I get to watch most of them live, and so I won't complain anymore about it. But I feel like the first two races were like really good. I am also in a F1 fantasy team, and I made a team of people that I don't like, and I called it wouldn't sit by on a plane, as like kind of a joke, as a way to be like, well, if people that I don't like do well, at least a team will do well. You know what I'm saying? And so I made this team, and I was like, oh, the team's not bad. The team is like by far in first place in the league. The team that I made as a joke of people that I don't like in Formula One. honestly, hats off to Lance Stroll. He's had a good first 2 races, and I think that's why. He's doing pretty good. But I feel like the first 2 races have been really good, and I'm excited for the rest of the season. It's gonna be a good season. I really hope, I really want Yuki to do well in Japan. Like, I'll be really, really sad if Yuki doesn't do well in Japan. I need him to do well in Japan. I need that for him. I love Yuki Tsunoda, and I want him to do well in Red Bull. I need that. I'm manifesting that for him, and if you also wouldn't mind manifesting that, I think that would really help. I also finally finished Drive to Survive, and I really liked this season, I have to say. I feel like last season, if you don't know, Drive to Survive is the Netflix dramatization of Formula One, and they document the season and then they release it as a dramatization. Not a dramatization, it's not a dramatization. It's it's a documentary, but it's really, really dramatic. And I feel like last season of Drive to Survive didn't really do it for me. This season was incredible. I liked all the episodes. I felt like it was really well done. I got some good, we got some good gossip, we got some good drama, and I really enjoyed it. I also feel like a lot of the storylines weren't fabricated. Weren't fabricated, but I feel like a lot of times they highlight battles between these 2 drivers that you're like, I don't really think they were that much battling that much against each other. But this season, everybody, every sort of conflict between drivers that they brought up in off the track and on the track, I was like, yeah, I was aware, and I'm glad to see it documented like this. I loved it. So that was great. And oh my gosh, Severance last weekend. Severance also crazy. Great ending. I loved the ending. I won't say any spoilers, obviously. You guys know how I feel about spoilers. I won't say any spoilers, but I thought the ending was great. I loved it. I mean, I hated it. I hated to watch it, but I thought it was a really, really good ending to the season. I really liked the season. Kind of dragged in the middle. I fear they're gonna I don't think it needs to be that long. I feel like we only need 3 or 4 seasons of Severance, and then that's it. This does not need to be a 10-season show. And I don't want them to drag it on. I'm kind of ready to have it all wrapped up. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying? But I really enjoyed the season finale last week, and I really enjoyed, speaking of crazy things, White Lotus. Is anybody else watching White Lotus? Crazy. I love White Lotus. I love watching it, but I love seeing people's theories on it on TikTok. I love that so much more. My personal favorite and most unhinged White Lotus theory that I've seen on TikTok, I will share it with you all here, and I would love it if you shared with me in the comments your most unhinged White Lotus theory that you've seen on TikTok or that you yourself have. I love hearing about it. My favorite is that the lizard that keeps following Belinda around is actually Tanya reincarnated, and that the lizard will have something to do with either killing someone or protecting someone from being killed. That's my favorite. It's unhinged, it's out there, but then every single one that I see, I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. That's cool. And then I'm like, I don't know, it could happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. Anyways, can't wait for this week's episode. I love it. I feel like I'm gonna get made fun of. But I recently, the season finale happened recently, and I really enjoyed watching it. It's Deal or No Deal Island. I watched Deal or No Deal a lot growing up with my family, especially on holidays. I feel like we did Thanksgiving is a big holiday, and we would watch Deal or No Deal was in the background a lot of the time. So Deal or No Deal holds a lot of nostalgia for me. And then basically they just took Deal or No Deal and they combined it with Survivor, and they made Deal or No Deal Island. And I was like, how did they do that? But you basically just do Survivor challenges during the day, and based on the result of the challenge, there's people that are vulnerable for elimination, and someone has to play the banker each night. And if they make a good deal, if they accept money that is worth more than what is in their case, they get to stay and choose someone to go home. If they make a bad deal, if they accept a deal from the banker that is worth less money than what is in their case, then they go home. And at the end, one person plays a game of Deal or No Deal and can win a ton of money. So it's really interesting. It's really fun. I really enjoy it. I think it's like a fun new twist. And I love Survivor. We've talked about Survivor before. I'm a relatively new Survivor fan, but I don't have Paramount Plus and I'm trying to save money because I'm moving and I'm going on some trips. And so I'm not going to buy Paramount Plus right now. So though I already have Peacock. And so this is the closest thing I can get to Survivor. So Deal or No Deal Island, if you're looking for something kind of silly and Survivor-ish to watch, check out Deal or No Deal Island. It's pretty fun. Also, Boston Rob was in season 1 of Deal or No Deal Island. This is the second season, and Parvati's in the second season. So they have some Survivor, some big names from Survivor. Oh, and then The Traitors. I think the last time we talked, I was gonna finish like season 2 or season 3. No, season 3. I was gonna watch the finale. I watched the finale. Turned out great. I had nothing to be worried about, guys. Nothing to be worried about. Great ending. Overall, pretty mid-season, I would say, but not too bad. I guess, yeah, the last thing I'll talk about is the books that I've been reading. In my last episode, I read so many books, and then I've been kind of on like a book slump, I guess you could say. But I did recently read Helter Skelter by Vincent Bugliosi. I had it in my Audible because they were doing a promotion where if you bought one book, used a credit for one book, you could get another book on a certain list for free. And so usually what I do is I go and I find the longest book that interests me as kind of like a bang for my buck. I know that's not really how it works. So I found this one, Helter Skelter, and basically Vincent Bugliosi was the lead prosecutor for the Manson murders, the Tate LaBianca murders, like way back in the day in like, what is it, the 60s, 70s? He was the lead prosecutor, and this is his book that he wrote detailing his involvement with the case and detailing the case. And I really enjoyed it. I have to say, I knew a decent amount about the Manson murders, the Tate LaBianca murders, just from being like having an interest in true crime. But it was really interesting to read, and it was pretty detailed. I really enjoyed it, I have to say. It was beefy. It was a big book to get through. I mean, obviously I listened to it, but I enjoyed it. So if you're into like a nonfiction true crime book from kind of a legal perspective, it was pretty good. Would recommend. I wouldn't recommend it for like a book club or anything like that, but I enjoyed it. All right, I think that's all I have to say. I'm getting thirsty and tired. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what you're working on, what you're reading now. I actually like, now that I say that, I would love some book recommendations because I'm running dry on books. But let me know what you're working on, what you're reading, what you're watching, what your plans are for spring, summer, because I cannot wait to start working on spring and summer knits. I hope you enjoyed this, and happy knitting. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.